There's this ancient practice, a meditation of just immense power. And it doesn't start with a sound or even a breath. It begins with something much simpler, a single, unwavering gaze. It's a technique that's so direct, it can feel, well, almost startling in its intensity. So let's explore this profound practice together.
Now, to really get a handle on this practice, we have to look back. I mean way back, deep into its origins. We need to discover the power that's been talked about for centuries. The definition itself, well, it is the instruction, Tratak. It means to gaze at a single point without blinking until your tears just begin to fall. And right there, in that one simple, focused action, lies a whole universe of untapped potential. And let me tell you, this is not some new age trend, not at all. The history here is just vast. It's mentioned in foundational yogic texts like the Garanda Samhita. It's actually the very same practice Mata Gandhari used in the epic Mahabharata. And it's the same power that Maharishi Vedvyas was said to have used to gift Sanjay divine sight. So what we're talking about is a practice with a truly profound lineage.
So you might be wondering, how can this simple act of, well, staring, wield so much power? The secret isn't just in the eyes. It's in the subtle energies that animate our entire being. Let's dive into the science, if you will, behind this stillness.
You see, ancient wisdom tells us that everything in existence, I'm talking from the galaxies spinning out in space all the way down to the blood flowing in our veins, is animated by a single life force energy. That energy, it's called prana. And that very same universal energy, it flows right here inside each and every one of us. Now, within our own body, this prana splits up to handle specific jobs. One of these, known as the Krima Upa Prana, is the subtle energy current that controls the blinking of our eyelids. That involuntary movement. So Tratak is the practice of consciously taking control of that specific current. And here's the crucial insight, the real key. When you master the involuntary impulse to blink, you start to master the involuntary chatter of your mind.
There's this quote from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika that just perfectly illustrates this connection. It says, Chali vate chalam chittam, nishchale nishchalam bhavet. What does that mean? It means as the breath moves, so the mind moves. When one becomes still, so does the other. Think about it. When we still the eyelids, our breath starts to quiet down. And as the breath quiets, the restless mind, it follows. Your gaze literally becomes a gateway to this profound inner stillness.
So, while the main principle is the same, the practice can actually be approached in a few different ways. For clarity's sake, let's break it down into 3 primary paths. All right, the 2 main paths are what we call Baiharang, or external Tratak, and Antarang, or internal Tratak. Baiharang is the starting point. It's where everyone begins. You fix your gaze on a physical object. Simple enough? Antarang, well, that's the advanced stage. That's for after you've mastered the external gaze. Then, you learn to hold that very same object with perfect clarity, but this time inside your own mind's eye.
And then there's a third, more subtle path called Adho Tratak. You can think of this as a state kind of between worlds. It's practiced with the eyes half open and half closed, and it's often used along with other meditative techniques.
Okay, so how can you actually start to explore this for yourself? The absolute key is to begin with a solid foundation. You just need to follow a few simple but really crucial guidelines.
So to begin, you really want to set yourself up for success. First, find a posture that's both stable and comfortable for you. Then, place your object about 1 meter, maybe 1.5 meters away. Make sure it's perfectly at eye level. You don't want to be straining up or down. And just start with 1 or 2 minutes. That's it. But most importantly, commit to a single object. Don't change it day to day. Consistency really is the key here.
So, where should you start? Well, the recommended starting point for pretty much everyone is the simplest form. It's called Bindu Tratak. It's just a small black dot on a white background. Why? Because it's free from any other associations, and it allows your mind to develop pure, one-pointed concentration.
But I know what you're thinking. What about the candle? Of course, right? The moment we think of Tratak, many of us, we picture a candle flame. It's a really powerful image, but is it the right place to start? Well, for what's called Jyoti Tratak, which is gazing at a flame, the classical texts, they don't actually mention a wax candle. They recommend a diya, that's a ghee or clarified butter lamp. It's considered a purer flame. But even this is a step you should only take after you've built a steady foundation with that simple dot first. So, why do all this?
What's the ultimate outcome of this intense, focused practice? Well, the benefits unfold both physically and mentally, and they all lead to this profound sense of inner control.
So on a physical level, the practice can actually purify the eyes and even strengthen your vision. But the real transformation, the deeper one, is internal. Your concentration sharpens dramatically. That ceaseless chatter of the mind, it starts to calm down. This helps cultivate much greater emotional stability, and ultimately, it unlocks the door to way deeper states of meditation.
And in the end, we're left with this thought to ponder. The practice, it's not the goal itself. Tratak is a tool, a really powerful tool for sure, one to help you gain knowledge of yourself, to achieve a state of meditation. But even meditation, the text suggests, is just another step, a step towards something even greater. The ability to act in the world with full focus, with full power, but without being attached to the results. That is true freedom.